your clinician today. So we're going to go over external rotation of the shoulder. So our three primary muscles that go through this rotation are posterior deltoid, infraspinatus, and your teres minor. So some things that can go wrong through this area are lack of range of motion when you go into external rotation, either overhead or down at the elbow. You can have some rotator cuff problems because your infraspinatus is one of your sits muscles or one of your rotator cuff muscles. And you can also have some tendonitis of these muscles when they have the long tendons that attach. These muscles are vital for many sports, including volleyball, baseball, football, and many others. So I'm going to bring Cassidy in, and she's going to be our patient today, and we're going to go through some exercises. So first we're going to start with an isometric exercise. Isometric is when the muscle's firing and has tension without causing contraction, shortening, or elongating. So we're going to stand against the wall. So I'm going to hand Cassidy, this is Cassidy, I'm going to put this up against the wall here, and I'm going to have her put her arm next to her. So a cue I'm going to give her is that her humerus needs to be parallel with her torso. So I'm going to ask her to take a small step up and take a step towards the wall. Perfect. So now that Cassidy is all set up, we are going to start with having her, she's just going to push lightly into the wall against this. So this is isometric because the muscle is not contracting, but there is tension involved. So I'm going to ask Cassidy to start with about 10 reps, hold it for about 15 seconds. We're going to try to do 3 sets of this.
Okay.
So if this is too difficult for her, we're going to bring her down in time holding or number of reps, or I can tell her not to push as hard. To make this more difficult, we can always hold for longer, more reps, and if this is just too easy, I think it's time to move on from isometric and move on to the next exercise. So again, things that we're trying to cue for, we're going to have her, she has a very nice posture, she's standing up nice and tall. Her humerus, again, is nice in line with her torso, and her elbow is at 90 degrees and is parallel with the ground. So, can you demonstrate for us quick?
Sure.
Great. So, again, it is very difficult to see that she's demonstrating because so for this isometric exercise, we are using the infraspinatus and the teres minor. This exercise does not target the posterior deltoid because we are not moving her shoulder, just using her elbow external rotation. So the next exercise we are going to do is called a closed kinetic chain exercise. And this is when your hand or your foot is in a fixed position in space. For example, on the ground, on the wall, or in this example, on the plinth. So the muscles that we are going to be targeting this time are infraspinatus, teres minor, and posterior portion of the deltoid. So we're going to instruct our patient Cassidy on how to set up. So I'm going to tell her to go into a push-up position. Here, we're making sure that she has a nice flat back. Her shoulders are in line with her hands, very nice. And her back here down to her legs is flat. All right, you can take a second while I explain the rest. So what's going to happen is Cassie's going to take one side and she's going to externally rotate and move up towards the sky. So you can call this exercise external rotation of a push-up or a side plank to a side push-up, all different variations. So as Cassidy is doing this exercise, she's focusing on the arm that is planted on the ground, which makes it a closed kinetic chain exercise. And she's using those muscles to hold herself up and stabilize as she opens. So again, we are looking for a flat back. Between every rep, she returned to normal, and you can also tell her to be sure she reaches towards the sky. So when she does this again, and we're gonna move our angle here, go ahead. You can tell that when she starts to move, go ahead, you can close. The first thing that moves is her shoulder and her hips. So she has twice as much movement from her shoulders as her hips, which is exactly what you were looking for. So to make this exercise easier, you can perform this from your knees, which will decrease the amount of external rotation you're able to do. But it helps if you do not have as stable as a core, To make this more difficult, you can increase the number of sets reps. You can increase the hold amount. So to start, if someone is new to this exercise, we might have them do 3 sets of 8 reps, and you can always bump up your sets and reps. For our third exercise, we are going to do an open kinetic chain exercise. This is when your hand or foot is freely moving. So because we're focusing on our shoulder, our hand will be freely moving in this exercise. So Cassidy here is going to demonstrate a 90-90 external rotation with a therapeutic band. This exercise is more advanced and should not be done until you have done TheraBand exercises at the elbow 90-90 degrees or at the upper shoulder 90-90 degrees. So Cassidy here has already done her TheraBand elbow 90-90, her shoulder 90-90, so we are going to make an advanced exercise. So she is going to start by first being into a nice athletic position. Her feet are shoulder width apart. She has some slight bend in her knees as if she's playing defense on basketball. Great job. So she has slight flexion of the hips. She is ready to go. She has engaged her core, always important in all these exercises. So next, she's going to, so first she goes into a 90 degrees with her shoulder. Her elbows are at 90 degrees as well, and she comes from bottom to up as a nice pull, as if you're starting the lawnmower. And then she's going to come up into a 90-90 of the elbow. Go ahead. So it is also very important that she is slow and controlled through the concentric portion of this exercise, but also just as slow and controlled through the eccentric. So as she pulls up, that is the concentric, and as she lowers down from here and then down, that is eccentric. So again, concentric, up, 90-90, down, and down, eccentric. So again, we are targeting the posterior deltoid, we are targeting her infraspinatus and her teres minor, 3 external rotators. So we would begin by doing this for about 3 sets of 8. If this is too difficult, we could go down in TheraBand color from red to yellow. If this is too easy, we can go up in TheraBand color, go up in rep. If we get all the way up to a black TheraBand with lots of reps, we can move to a Kaiser machine or a cable row. Again, things that we were cueing for was a very athletic position, posture, her elbows came to 90-90, and then she externally rotated, always being sure to cue them slow on the way down and return to normal every time. Great job, Cass. So lastly, we're going to do a functional test exercise. This should not be done until you have come through a little bit of your strengthening and you're now thinking about returning to the playing field or wherever your sport is. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Cassidy kind of be an overhead thrower today. This is a great way to figure out if you're getting the proper external rotation, for example, during your softball or baseball throw. So we're going to call this a backwards wrist flick. So what Cassidy is going to do is she's going to attempt to get the ball in that target behind her on the board. So the way that she's going to do this is she's going to go up into a 90-90 position, and she's going to externally rotate and let the ball go behind her. Great job. So this is going to ensure that her elbow and her shoulder are in the proper alignment for her throwing, and that her external rotators are going to fire and they are strong enough to get her back into that rotation. Not only is the range of motion important, but that strength through that range of motion is important. Great job. So things that we are going to cue her for is to be in a nice athletic position. She is going to make sure that her elbow and her humerus is parallel to the ground. We don't want her elbow too high, and we don't want her elbow too low. That is how we create bad habits in throwing, and we have other problems. And she's going to let the ball go right behind her. So we are going to make sure that it goes directly behind so she's not side throwing or coming too far over the top. One more time, Cassidy. Great job. So to make this more difficult, we can add maybe a weighted ball once you are sure that you don't have any that doesn't cause any pain with a weighted ball. And to make it easier, we're using wiffle balls here. You can just go through the motion without a ball, and if this is too difficult, you should return back to doing more 90-90 exercises. So overall, external rotation involving the posterior deltoid, infraspinatus, and teres minor is very important that you have proper external rotation with your mechanics. So overall, having that range of motion through that external rotation and having that strength through that motion is very important to control your mechanics with your sport. So overall, external rotation is very important for serving an ace in tennis, your quarterback throwing a touchdown pass, volleyball player getting that spike to complete the kill, winning the race in swimming for your backstroke, and striking out the side in baseball. Just remember, we are always looking for good posture and in an athletic position while doing all of these exercises. So check back with us in a few weeks when we go over exercises for wrist pronation.